Fourthly, it goes on to the Apple's revenue breakdown by product. It shows us that Apple's greatest source of revenue is from the iPhone, and the greatest source of all is the products in total, such as the Apple Watch, the iPods. And secondly comes the services. Although now in 2019 and 2020, we have seen a spike in their services, such as the Apple Card and the streaming services, which has actually taken a big increase in source of income. Finally, they give us examples of Apple's market share in different areas. For instance, in the PC market, in 2019, it was only fourth, even though the MacBook Pro and the MacBook Pro and the MacBook are very popular PCs. Finally, the tablet market share, just as we discussed, even though their market share diluted from 2010 when it was first released, they are still the top. They still have the top market share with 26%, beating Samsung, Amazon, and Huawei. And now I'm going to pass on the SWOT analysis to Liana.
Thank you, Zed. And for the Apple SWOT, I'm going to start with the strengths. And with strengths, I think my team and we all can agree that it's a very respected brand and globally recognized due to its top technology. And this is another thing that when Jobs was around, he believed in the technology and innovation part, which is stated in his mission statement. And it's a brand of choice. It has loyal customers based on its distinguished line and luxurious products. It has a diversification in services, just like my team has said. And one thing that I find and I agree with, is that many people refer to Apple as the Rolls Royce of technology, with a retail store design that looks more like a showroom, just like cars. So this is just another strength that they have. They have the capital, they have the innovation, they have the technology, and it's all reflected with their products and their stores, which is now another strength that is helping with their revenue. Let's see. Thirdly, in expansion and services, Apple is serving drastically. It reflects on its revenue, ranking. One second, please. Ranking second after iPhone. And lastly, Apple is a globally icon company, just like I mentioned. And expanding to other services, like Zed said, is another strength. And I'm going to get into more detail talking about it in the weaknesses. One of its first weaknesses is that it's very high priced, and not a lot of people can afford those products due to its premium prices. Second weakness is incompatibility with other software. And the thing about Apple, it's distinguished due to its synchronous ability with all their products, from Apple Watch, phone, TV. It's a strength, but also a weakness because its competitors can get cheaper substitutes for all the things that Apple synchronizes in one. If you need headphones for your Apple phone, it has to be compatible with Apple. Whereas the competitors, if you have Samsung products, you could just plug in any brand headphones. My third point for weaknesses is entering areas of non-competency. And what I mean by this is that Apple is known for innovation of technology and innovation of products to help humankind, like Jobs had mentioned. But another weakness that we're finding is that with all these technologies and them trying to dominate the market, as we could see right here with the Apple Maps, that was one of the huge fails that they had. They wanted to compete with Google, but it didn't work, and it's still we're still resurfacing that problem with Apple Maps, that it's not effective. Another product that they wanted to dominate the market and compete with its competitors was the HomePod. It really only gave 6% of sales when it came out, and they were late with distributing and restocking their stores. And this was a huge big fail. because I think Apple started deviating from its main mission and vision and focusing on innovating and technology and competing and dominating all the markets. So I see my team and I see that as a weakness, because instead of competing with its competitors in what it's already in the market, they should start innovating as to what is the next big thing, what is going to separate us from our competitors. And my fourth point is allegation of tracking. This is a huge weakness, especially for a well-known, globally iconic company. There was, I think it was 2015, a shooter in California that had an Apple phone, and the FBI wanted Apple to release that information because it has the ability for tracking information. But the FBI didn't cooperate or helped in that situation. And I'll talk about it more in threats, but I bring it as a weakness because Apple has a feature in its phone where another Apple user could see and track another iPhone user. So does Apple really stand with respecting people's privacy? Is that something that they should focus more on their mission and vision, protecting people's privacy, or is it when it's convenient for them? Another point that I noticed is limited advertisement and promotion. And what I mean by this is that the Apple Silhouette commercial was a huge, huge success. It distinguished every other commercial from Apple. And I think this Silhouette advertisement reflected on its innovation and just differentiating themselves from everyone else in the market. And I think they lack that now. They don't promote their products as much as they used to when Jobs was around. And what my team and I have noticed and agreed on is that they usually come up with advertisements when there's Super Bowl season, when a product is going to be released, and no promotions. Whereas their competitors' sales, they have sometimes bundles, and Apple is very well known for high pricing and lack of promotion on their products. And the last point for lack of innovation is just they need to stop focusing on existing features on their phone, because Apple phone has already been a success. They need to focus on what's going to be the next big thing. Now I'm going to move on to opportunities. So
real quick, sorry, just to jump in. We don't have to discuss it more because I know you said you were going to talk about this later on, but I will quickly note, I mean, the privacy issue is a huge one for Apple. So I live not too far from campus, and on Randolph Street, I believe it's Randolph right now, and it's a campaign they're actually running, but it is like a big billboard with just iPhones, and it says like Apple is secure. And so you might have seen those commercials, but that's something that the privacy issue for Apple is a really huge one right now. And that is kind of what they're trying to convince people, that they're safe using Apple products, because I think a lot of people are uncertain about whether or not that's true.
And that leads to another ethical issue is where do they stand? Are they going to continue with technology and their privacy? Is this going to be implemented on what the company believes in? Because I think this is a fairly new topic. It wasn't implemented when Steve's was around. I think it's now when our new CEO has been taking over.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move on to the opportunities now. Customer growth. While I was doing research, I found out that continent of Africa, Apple doesn't extend to offer their services and products. Well, they offer the iTunes Music because it's via online, but they don't offer any products or distribute products over there. So I see that as a lack of presence, and they could get this opportunity to grow their market, especially in wealthy areas where they can afford these products. I believe it's Cape Town in Africa. They could afford these products, and they're open to open business. And I see that as a lack, since they want to pretty much be a global iconic and pretty much take over the world with technology and their product. So that's one opportunity. The second one is qualified professionals. Just like Maria stated in the beginning, when Jobs left, Not only did he leave, but he returned, and he returned